Lee Summit consistently ranks as one of the best places to live in America, but what does it actually cost? A lot of people assume a top-ranked suburb means premium prices across the board, and they're wrong. I've been selling homes here for over 12 years, and I'm going to walk you through 7 real cost categories with actual numbers. Some of these are going to surprise you, especially if you're comparing Lee Summit to the Kansas side. The overall snapshot, where does Lee Summit land? Lee Summit's overall cost of living index sits at about 88 on the best places scale, meaning it's roughly 12% below the national average. That surprises people. They hear best places to live and assume expensive. But Missouri in general runs well below the national average, and Lee Summit benefits from that while still delivering top-tier schools, safety, and amenities. Overall cost of living index 88.4 with the national average at 100. Translations 12% below the average. For comparison, Overland Park, Kansas, the suburb most people compare Lee Summit to, runs about 8% more expensive overall. Same metro, different side of the state line, meaningful difference in your wallet. The sweet spot price range for most of my buyers in Lee Summit is between $300,000 and $500,000. Some of the stats get skewed because we have a large number of new builds over $500,000, and that drives the median price range up. The biggest line item, housing. The median home price in Lee Summit, $352,000. That gets you a solid 3-bed, 2-bath home with a 2-car garage in a well-established neighborhood. Push into the 400,000s and 500,000s, and you're in a newer construction or premium neighborhood like Eagle Creek, Winterset, Longview Farms. The average rent is about $1,513. Median days on market here is 32 days. Sold to list price is sitting at 99%. It's a strong housing market. If you're renting, first expect to spend about $1,500 a month for a decent 1-bedroom apartment. That's competitive with the Kansas City metro average and well below what you'd pay in Overland Park or downtown Kansas City. If your budget is under $250,000, you should probably be looking in a different area such as Blue Springs, Independence, maybe more, and Raytown. They're all solid options with lower entry points. We can always check homes in Lee Summit and see if one comes on the market at that price, but it's going to be popular and probably going to go up because of multiple offers. Property taxes, the one everyone asks about. This is where it gets interesting. Lee Summit sits mostly in Jackson County, where the effective property tax rate is about 1.11%. On a $352,000 home, that's roughly $3,900 a year. The Cass County effective rate is 0.85%. The estimated annual tax on a $352,000 home, $2,990. Savings in Cass County, $900 a year. But here's the move a lot of people don't know about. The southern edge of Lee Summit crosses into Cass County. Same city, same amenities, but the effective rate drops to 0.85%. That's a $900 a year in savings on the same priced home. Over a 10-year hold, that's $9,000. One more thing worth noting, Missouri has passed a law that lets seniors 62 and up who qualify for Social Security to freeze their assessment value. The county can still raise rates on everyone else, but your assessed value locks in. If the levy changes, there might be a small adjustment, but nothing like what everyone else deals with. A lot of people moving here for retirement don't know about this, and it's a big deal. Cass County does have cheaper taxes, and if you buy a house, you can save almost $100 a month in taxes. That's going to allow you to afford a nicer house in Cass County than it will in Jackson County and still be a part of Lee Summit. It's a real factor in how I advise buyers. Cass County also has the tax freeze, income tax and sales tax. Missouri versus Kansas. Missouri's top tax rate is 4.8%. Kansas is at 5.7%. That's real money if you're earning six figures. On a $100,000 income, you're paying roughly $900 less per year in Missouri in state income tax compared to Kansas. Sales tax in Lee Summit is at 7.85%. That's a combination of state, county, and city. Overland Park runs around 9.1%. Groceries, gas, everyday purchases, it adds up. This is one of the biggest reasons the Missouri side keeps pulling people over from Kansas. You get comparable schools, comparable neighborhoods, and you keep more of your paycheck. Utilities. What to budget monthly? For a typical 3-bedroom home in Lee Summit, budget about $250 to $350 a month for electric, gas, water, and trash combined. Add internet and phone, and you're around $400 to $450 a month total. Missouri utilities run right at or slightly below the national average. There are no major surprises here. Summers get hot. July and August will bump your electric bill, but you're not dealing with California or Texas level energy cost. Groceries and everyday costs. Groceries in Lee Summit run pretty close to the national average. A family of 4 can expect to spend about $600 to $900 a month, depending on where you shop and how you eat. The good news, Lee Summit has every major grocery chain. Hy-Vee, Price Chopper, Aldi, Walmart, Target, and Costco is coming to Oldham East Village in late 2026. That alone will put downward pressure on grocery costs in the area. The everyday cost of living in Lee Summit is going to be about the same as it is in other parts of the metro. We have a lot of chain restaurants as well as some really cool mom and pop stores. Gas is the same way. You could maybe save a little bit of money somewhere else, but by the time you factor in gas and the time to drive there, are you really saving anything? Insurance and cost nobody mentions. Homeowners insurance in Missouri averages around $2,400 to $3,000 a year for a median price home. That's higher than the national average, and it's because of hail. Kansas City gets hit with hailstorms regularly, and insurance companies price that in. Auto insurance runs about $1,800 to $2,200 per year per vehicle in the Kansas City metro area. Missouri is a no-fault state for some coverages, which also affects the rate. The other hidden cost, HOA fees. Newer subdivisions in Lee Summit typically run $300 to $800 per year. Some of the premium neighborhoods with pools and clubhouses push up $1,000. Older neighborhoods often have no HOA at all. I typically try to have the HOA fees for wherever my buyers are looking at a specific house, so that should never be a surprise. If it is, I failed on my end. Insurance costs are a different story. Those have risen dramatically, and it's become a big deal here, especially when it comes to roofs. I used to estimate around $2,000 to $2,400 a year, and I've bumped that up to $3,000 or higher, depending on the size of the house and the age of the roof. You need to budget accordingly. If you're relocating to the Kansas City metro and trying to build a realistic budget, this video is for you. It gives you the framework. If you're comparing Lee Summit to the Kansas side, the tax math alone is worth running. If you're local and curious whether you're overpaying, now you have the benchmarks on what to look for. Who should look elsewhere? If your budget is under $250,000, look at some other areas. Blue Springs, Independence, Raytown, Oak Grove, all solid options with lower entry points. If you want urban walkability, Lee Summit isn't downtown Kansas City. That's the full cost breakdown. No fluff, real numbers. Lee Summit gives you top-ranked schools, a safe community, and a cost of living that runs below the national average. That's a hard combination to beat. If you want help running the numbers for your specific situation, email me at info@movingwithmark.com. Drop a comment with where you're moving from. I'll tell you how the costs compare Subscribe for more Kansas City Metro breakdowns, and I'll see you on the next video.